Nobody told me that the bird I overlooked for years would be the one that changed my farming life forever. I'm not talking about chickens. I'm not talking about turkeys. I'm talking about guinea fowl. And by the time this video is over, you're going to wonder why you ever started with anything else. If nobody has told you this today, I'm glad you found this channel. We're building a community of smart farmers here, though people who want real information, real numbers, and real growth. If that sounds like you, subscribe and let's grow together. All right, so let's start from the very beginning, because I think a lot of people come into farming with the same mindset. They think chickens. Everyone starts with chickens. Chickens are familiar. Chickens are everywhere. Your neighbor has chickens. Your uncle has chickens. Your grandmother had chickens. So naturally, when someone decides to start a small homestead or a backyard farm, the first thing they run to is chickens. And look, I'm not here to disrespect the chicken. The chicken has fed families and built businesses. I understand why people love it. But here's what nobody is telling you. There is a bird sitting right beside the chicken, quieter in the marketplace, less talked about, less celebrated, that is absolutely destroying it in terms of profitability, efficiency, and return on investment for small homesteads. And that bird is the guinea fowl. Now, I know some of you are already skeptical. You might be thinking, guinea fowl, those noisy, funny-looking birds. Yes, those exact birds. And I need you to stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you is going to completely shift the way you look at poultry farming. Whether you have a small piece of land, whether you're still planning, whether you've already started and you're trying to figure out how to scale, this is for you. Let's talk about why guinea fowl win. And I want to start with something that gets overlooked almost every single time. People compare birds, and that is the egg-laying capacity. Because when most people think of eggs, they think chickens. That's the default. But let me ask you something. Did you know that a single guinea hen, just one female guinea fowl, can lay up to 40 eggs in a single laying cycle? 40 eggs from one bird in one cycle. Let that breathe for a second. Now imagine you have just 12 hens. 12. Not 100, not 50, just 12 guinea hens on your small homestead. That's 12 multiplied by 40. That's 480 eggs from one single cycle. And that is not a dream number. That is not something I'm making up to excite you. That is what happens when you manage your flock the right way. 480 potential kits, and that's what we call the baby guinea fowls, from just 12 hens. Now tell me which chicken on your compound is doing that. I'll wait. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because farming is not just about how many eggs a bird lays, it's about what you do with those eggs. It's about how you turn those eggs into money. And guinea fowl gives you multiple opportunities to do exactly that. Let me break this down for you because this is important. When those eggs hatch into kits, you have a choice. You can sell those kits at just 1 day old. 1 day. The bird hasn't even learned to walk properly yet, and you can already sell it. At 1 day old, a guinea fowl kit can go for around 5,000 shillings depending on your market and your region. So let's do that math quickly. 450 kits. Because realistically, some eggs may not hatch and you'll eat a few along the way. 450 kits at 5,000 each. That is 2,250,000 shillings from one cycle, from 12 hens on a small homestead. Are you starting to see what I'm talking about? But wait, because here's where guinea fowl farming gets even more powerful. You don't have to sell them at 1 day old. That is just one option. If you choose to brood those kits, meaning you raise them for just 1 month, the price jumps. It literally doubles. A 1-month-old guinea fowl kit can sell for up to 10,000 shillings. So now instead of 2.2 million, you're looking at 4.5 million from those same 450 birds. Same flock, same farm, same piece of land. You just waited 30 more days. That is the power of understanding your market and knowing when to sell. Now, I want to pause here and talk to someone specific. Maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, this sounds great, but I'm just starting out. I don't have a lot of money. I can't afford to buy 50 or 100 birds. And I want you to hear me clearly. You do not need to start big. The beauty of guinea fowl farming is that you can start with whatever you have. You can start with 4 birds. You can start with 6. You can start with 10. The principles are the same. The process is the same. You follow the right steps, and those 4 birds become 40. Those 40 become 400. That's not motivation talk. That is literally how the biology of this bird works. when you manage it well. What matters most is not how big you start. What matters is that you start correctly. And that brings me to the heart of what I want to teach you today, the 2 pillars of guinea fowl multiplication. Because if you get these 2 things right, everything else falls into place. Miss them, and you'll be struggling from day one. These 2 pillars are breeding and brooding. I need you to write these down if you're taking notes. Breeding and brooding. 2 different things, 2 equally important things. Let's start with breeding. Breeding is simply the process of getting your guinea fowl to produce fertile eggs, and to do this, you need what is called a parent stock. This is your foundation flock, the birds you start with that will produce all the eggs, all the kits, all the income that comes after. For someone just getting started, a good parent stock would be something like 2 males, we call them cocks, and about 10 to 12 females. That ratio works. Well, the males fertilize the eggs and the females lay, and in that combination, you start producing fertile eggs that can hatch into healthy kits. Now here's something that a lot of beginners get wrong about guinea fowl breeding. They think it's complicated. They think they need special equipment from day one. They think they need a big facility. But the truth is that guinea fowl are some of the most naturally capable breeders in the poultry world. They don't need much from you in terms of managing the mating process. What they need from you is proper feeding, proper space, and proper care. You set the environment right, and these birds will handle the rest. Once your hens start laying, you'll begin collecting eggs, and this is where you need to pay attention because egg management matters. You want to collect your eggs regularly, ideally daily, to keep them clean and to prevent them from being trampled or damaged. Store them properly in a cool place, and then comes the next decision. What do you do with those eggs? This is where the second pillar comes in, brooding. And brooding is the process of hatching those eggs into kits and then raising those kits through the most vulnerable stage of their lives. Because here's the truth about guinea fowl kits, they are fragile in those first few weeks. The mortality rate for kits that are not properly managed can be heartbreaking. You could hatch 400 kits and end up with 150 if you're not careful. But if you manage the brooding stage well, you can raise almost all of them. And that difference between 150 survivors and 400 survivors is the difference between a struggling farm and a profitable one. So let's talk about your hatching options because you have 3 of them and each one has its place. The first option is to let the guinea hen herself sit on her eggs and hatch them. This is the most natural method, no equipment needed, no extra cost. You just let nature do its work. And it does work, but there is a catch with this method, and I want you to know it up front. Guinea hens are not the best mothers. I know that sounds harsh, but it's just the reality of this breed. When the hen moves around after hatching, she doesn't always understand that her kits are still too young and too fragile to keep up. She'll walk away. She'll move to a new spot. And those tiny kits, still learning to regulate their own body temperature, can get left behind, get cold, get lost. And you lose them. So while this method is free and natural, it comes with risk, especially for beginners who don't yet know how to spot problems quickly. The second option, and this one is brilliant especially if you already have chickens at home, is to use a broody hen to hatch your guinea fowl eggs. A broody chicken hen. You place the guinea fowl eggs under the chicken and she sits on them, she warms them, she hatches them. And here's the magic part. Because the chicken is a genuinely good mother, she will then care for those kits as if they were her own chicks. She'll keep them warm. She'll call them when food is near. She'll protect them. And the kits, because they hatched under her, will follow her and trust her. This method gives you a much higher survival rate, and it costs you almost nothing extra if you already have chickens. This is honestly one of the best-kept secrets in small homestead guinea fowl farming. There's another beautiful bonus to using a chicken for hatching and brooding. If your guinea fowl kits grow up alongside chickens from day one, they become comfortable with chickens. They don't see them as threats. And this matters a lot when you're running a mixed flock because guinea fowl that are introduced to chickens as adults can be very aggressive and territorial. There will be fights, there will be stress, there will be losses, but birds that grew up together, they coexist. They share space, they share feeders, they live in peace, and a peaceful flock is a productive flock. The third hatching option is the incubator, an artificial hatching machine where you place your eggs, set the temperature and humidity, and let the machine do the work of the mother. The incubator is the option you graduate to when your operation starts to scale up. When you have hundreds of eggs to hatch at a time, you can't rely on a few hens to sit on all of them. That's when the incubator becomes your most important piece of equipment. But for someone just starting out, for someone with 12 hens and their first few hundred eggs, the chicken method or even the guinea hen herself with proper supervision is more than enough. Now, once those eggs hatch, however you chose to hatch them, the real work begins. And this is the part that makes or breaks most beginners. Raising guinea fowl kits from day one. This is where so many people get frustrated. They hatch 400 kits, and within 2 weeks they're watching them die one by one. And they start to think, maybe guinea fowl farming isn't for me. Maybe this is too hard. But the problem's almost never the birds. The problem is the environment those kits are being raised in. Guinea fowl kits need a brooding space, a dedicated, protected, controlled space where they are safe from predators, safe from harsh weather, and safe from the stress of the open environment. In this space, they need constant access to clean water and quality feed. They need warmth, especially in those first 2 weeks when they cannot yet regulate their own body heat. They need protection from things as simple as rain, cold wind, and even direct harsh sunlight in their earliest days. When you give them this, they thrive. When you expose them too early to the full harshness of the environment, even on a warm day when you start losing them. Think of it this way. A newborn human baby doesn't get sent outside to figure things out on the first day. We protect them. We keep them warm. We feed them carefully. We give them time to get strong. Guinea fowl kits are the same. They need that window of protection and care, and then, once they're strong enough, they become some of the most resilient, self-sufficient birds you will ever keep. But you have to give them that start. And when you do give them that start, the results are extraordinary. Yeah, instead of hatching 450 kits and ending up with 200, you end up with 420, 430, almost all of them. And every single kit you save is money you didn't lose. Every kit you raise to a month old is a kit that doubled in value. Every kit you grow to full size is a bird that can feed a family, supply a market, or replenish your own flock. I want to also talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in guinea fowl content, and that is the overall cost of keeping these birds compared to chickens. Because profitability is not just about income, it's about the gap between what comes in and what goes out. And guinea fowl have a very significant advantage here that most people don't realize until they've kept both. Guinea fowl are incredibly self-sufficient foragers. If you give them any kind of free-range space or even a modest yard, they will find a huge portion of their own food. They scratch, they hunt, they eat insects, worms, seeds, and wild plants with enthusiasm. They are nature's pest control on 4 legs. They reduce your feed bill dramatically compared to chickens, and a lower feed bill with the same or higher revenue means a wider profit margin. That is business. That is farming done right. On top of that, guinea fowl are naturally hardy birds. They have strong immune systems. They are far less prone to the common poultry diseases that can wipe out a chicken flock overnight. You spend less on medication, you spend less on veterinary visits, you lose fewer birds to unexplained illness, and again, every expense you avoid is profit you keep. There's also the market side of things that I want you to think carefully about. Chickens are everywhere. Every market has chicken. Every stall has chicken. Every farm has chicken. The competition is enormous and the prices reflect that. Guinea fowl? Far less common in most markets. The demand is real from hotels, restaurants, high-end markets, health-conscious consumers who want lean game-like meat, and the supply is limited. When supply is limited and demand is steady, the price stays high. That's basic economics. And that's exactly the position guinea fowl farming puts you in. You are not fighting for space in an overcrowded market. You are walking into a market where buyers are actively looking for what you have. That is a completely different feeling as a farmer. That is confidence. That is leverage. Now, I want to bring this all together for you because I've given you a lot of information and I want to make sure you leave this video with clarity, not confusion. Guinea fowl farming for a small homestead works because of 4 things. First, the egg volume is unmatched. 1 hen, 40 eggs per cycle. No other backyard bird comes close to that ratio. Second, the selling options are flexible. You can sell at day 1, at 1 month, at full maturity. You control when you exit and at what price. Third, the costs are low. They forage naturally. They're disease-resistant, your input costs are manageable even on a tight budget. And fourth, the market is hungry. Less competition, higher prices, consistent demand from premium buyers. Put all 4 of those together and you have a farming venture that makes sense at any scale. Small homestead, medium farm, large commercial operation, the principles scale with you. I also want to say something to those of you who are already doing this. Maybe you've started your guinea fowl flock and you're somewhere in the middle of your journey. Keep going. The hardest part is the beginning, getting your first parent stock, figuring out your hatching method, learning your birds, understanding their behavior. It takes a little time and patience, but once you crack the code of your own flock, once you understand their rhythms and their needs, it becomes almost second nature, and the income that follows that understanding is worth every confused, frustrated, early morning you went through to get there. I genuinely believe that guinea fowl is one of the most underrated income opportunities available to small and medium homestead farmers right now. Not just in Africa, globally, the world is moving toward diverse, sustainable, locally sourced proteins. Guinea fowl sits right at the center of that movement. The timing could not be better to get in, to grow, and to build something real with this bird. So if you've been sitting on the fence, this is your sign. If you've been debating between chickens and guinea fowl, as someone to say nedes meetans, I hope this video helped make that decision a little clearer. And if you're brand new to farming altogether and you're looking for where to start, consider this your introduction to one of the best decisions you can make for your homestead. Do me a favor before you go. If this video gave you value, if it opened your eyes to something you didn't know before, share it with one person, a family member, a friend, someone you know who's been talking about starting a farm or who's struggling with their current setup. You might just change the direction of their life with one share. And drop a comment below. Tell me where you are in your guinea fowl journey. Are you just starting? Already farming? Still planning? I want to know. I read every comment and I use your questions to shape the next video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. That means everything to me. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're building something great here together and you don't want to miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.